Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Dr. Natalie Show. Yes, we are live. I know we missed a couple of weeks here and there's a simple reason. There's been a lot going on. You may recall that we had this amazing event with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. You missed it? Well, if you missed it, it is in the archives. You can go and still benefit from all the communication, from all the sharing, from all the learning that has happened. So you might want to go back. And when you do go back, oh, where's my notebook? Well, I put that aside. Take your notebook. There's a lot that you can learn from what was happening in that event. So just wanted to mention that. Also, right when we start, I do want to mention that this today, hey everybody, it's going to be the final show for this season. Okay, emphasis on this season. I'll be back. However, I'm looking at the calendar. It's the end of June, and I'm thinking, ooh, summer break. Aren't you thinking summer break? Now I know some of you are in different time zones in different parts of the world, so you might be thinking winter break. I know at least one of you that I talked about a week and a half ago was mentioning snow. So, no, I'm not doing the snow right now. However, I am doing the summer. So, let me share this with you, okay? We are going on a quick, short summer break. Just this show. You still have the Rex Psych Show. You still have everything that we always have here. So don't you worry. Don't worry. We have everything. It's just I need a break. Not from you, but for you. I need a break for you so that I can come back in August with new guests, with new topics, and you may see me more from time to time, actually by myself, just like right now. When we do meet face to face, just you and me, then of course we have a little bit of a different energy. And I see so many of you. I'm so excited that you're all here. Will you tell me where you're from as well? Because I know I've got people in the US, I've got people in the UK, we've got probably people in Australia, India. So, feel free to share where you're from. I always like seeing that. Just, it makes me feel like we're really coming together. So let's talk about summer for a second. Summer, or whatever you want to call this break. I have the amazing benefit right now to participate with so many wonderful people in training, in education, in development. Because let's face it, we all need it, right? We all need it regardless of how big, how small, how advanced you are. We can always advance more. And in one of those workshops, challenges that I'm in right now, it's so beautiful because there's real sharing going on. And I want to invite you to really share, to really be open to receiving. Sometimes we sign up for workshops. Been there, done that. Sometimes we sign up for reading something, for doing something, and we are not present. We're not present because we're not open to receiving. And yet, if we want to grow, we do need to be open to receive. We need to be open to learn and to understand that, yes, in my words, we are perfect. And yes, we are becoming more and more perfect every day. So, in this beautiful, beautiful workshop, I want to give a shout out. Hey, Connie. Thank you from Maryland. Yes, I'll be back there in just a few days. Thank you, Connie. So, in this one workshop, Antonia is doing it. She was a guest here a couple weeks ago. We were just talking about nature, obviously. And one of the things that I actually shared with the group, and I'm going to share with you because it's not too personal, is the way that we look at things. We are so, I'm a rule breaker, right? Did I mention that? I'm a rule breaker. Okay, so I'm a rule breaker. When we look at things, we are trained to look at things a certain way. Just like we're signing up for lots of workshops and we may never actually take anything in, right? So, not good. Anyhow, when we look at things, we're trained a certain way. Just like for a lot of people, darker colors are scary, mysterious, maybe fearful. Lighter colors are so much better. Excuse my intonation, but I'm trying to illustrate. We see that in movies too, right? It's very, very fascinating when you start paying attention. I'm a historian by trade, as you all know by now, and that means I analyze everything and I question everything. The mind of a historian is like a quadrant. Welcome to my mind. And then there's that, intuitive side in there as well. Whoa, you cannot imagine what's going on in there. So when we're looking at things, we're trained to see them in specific ways. And I want to invite you to change perspective. I want to invite you today to really look at something, maybe something very, very familiar, something that you see every day, and be open to adjusting your interpretation of it. Because it's always just our perspective, right? So we interpret everything that we see. How do we interpret it? Everybody else, you can also put in where you're from. We interpret it based on our knowledge, based on our training, based on our understanding. We have to be very, very self-aware in this. If you don't know yourself, you cannot understand what I'm talking about right now. And that means you and I need to talk. If you're self-aware enough, you understand that everything around you, number one, you create. Number two, you interpret based on yourself. And therefore, every interpretation is different. Just like black and light colors, or dark and light colors. Black's one of my favorite colors. Some people tell me it's not a color. To me, it's a color. Go out and look at something and be open to one, being present, two, receiving, three, adjusting your perspective. What do I mean by that? You go outside right now, depending on where you live, there may be a street. Hey, Bubba, we need to talk still. There may be a street. Well, normally you might go out there and you say, the street. So what's happening in the street is this. Well, you have a certain feeling. Let's just call it a feeling. You have a certain feeling when you go and see the street. Can you adjust that so that you actually feel better, are happier, are less stressed? Because you create everything anyhow, right? So think about it. Normally you go out. Is this an example? It doesn't mean this is you. Okay, you go out and you're like, street, traffic, noise. Oh my God. Okay, all of that might be happening. What if you now go out and say, okay, let me be present for a moment. Let me really look at this. There's a street. Is there anything positive I can think about the street? Is there anything positive I can think about when I see the cars? I don't really care what it is, but I invite you to do that. And part of what triggered that today was, as I said, the wonderful workshop with Antonia that I'm in right now. One of the many things that I do on a consistent basis to develop. And there we're talking about nature and there was discussion about, living near the water versus living near the woods and so forth. And we all have our preferences, don't we? Right? Some of us like to live up in Scandinavia where it's more windy. I just was up in Sweden, so it's windy, Or in my hometown, Hamburg, it's windy. We're just like 100 kilometers from the sea. So obviously, other people prefer to live where it's hot. Other people prefer to live in a wooded area. We all have our preferences. And what is going on in us when we are with those preferences, can we change our perspective? Because you are creating your life. So, can you change the perspective on how you see something to be better for you? Why? Anything negative that you say, think, feel is actually in you. Now, yes, I'm a big proponent of spitting it out. Okay. Martin, another person that is doing a wonderful workshop, and he'll be a guest in August. He was also talking about that. If you're upset, be upset. Absolutely. You know, any spiritual teacher who tells you, "Oh, hold it in," I disagree. Because you need to let it out, or it will eat you up from the inside out. Why do people get sick? They're holding on to stuff. So I was thinking about, and when you go and share my part, I was thinking about dry lands, the Sahara, and of course, one of my favorite places, Death Valley, came to mind. And I was thinking how a lot of people, they see these areas and they go, oh, I mean, the Sahara Desert might be different because, people will say that it looks pretty, but then they will get scared of it because it's too dry. They say it's all dead, even though the Sahara is moving. So when we really look at something like that, what do we see and why do we see it? So when I think about it, on the one hand, of course, like, ooh, what are we doing to Mother Earth? On the other hand, she's so strong. Have you ever been in Death Valley? Have you ever been in an area that's supposed to be dead? Whether it is a desert, whether it is after a forest fire, anything like that. Have you ever been there? Something grows there. Maybe not immediately, but something grows there. And when I was contemplating that today, I was thinking about the show. I want to share that with you because I'm going on a summer break. That's not a desert. That's not a forest. No pun intended. It is a summer break where you may think everything is dead. But it's not, is it? If you have kids, you know summer break ain't dead. It's like crazy. You look at Mother Nature, you know there is never a time where she's dead. Now, we might be trying to destroy her right now, but I think we're able to redirect that. So, think about the desert. Think about how something is growing, even when you think it is not. And then, especially in the desert, you have the wind changing the dunes up. So you might feel completely disoriented. And a lot of us think, oh my God, disoriented, that's so crazy. That's why people don't like to engage in certain activities where they're disoriented or they don't have a way out, right? Can there be a benefit to that? I guess what the answer is yes, of course there can. If you have no distractions, you get to be, and you get to be with you. Whoa, what a blessing. And you can then let out anything that's dark, painful, not so good, you don't like it. You can explore your shadow side. Act, behave the way that society tells you you shouldn't be doing. Figure out if maybe that's a cool side of you. And you can evolve further because by getting back in touch with you, getting back to knowing you, and really saying, "Whoa, that's kind of cool. Whoa, this is kind of not so cool, but it's both me. Okay, how do I put those together?" You are growing, just like in the desert, just like in Death Valley, just like after a forest fire, just like after a volcano outbreak. There is something bubbling, growing, and then coming out. So I invite you to think about it that way. I used to do workshops on how to appreciate a plateau that you're on in your development and evolution. I might do that again. But right now, I'm really focused on the spiritual aspect. And what I'm talking about right now might not seem spiritual to you, but it is. It is the connection. I always talk about calm. I talk about clear. I talk about connection. This is what we're talking about, the connection. You need to put it all together. And spirituality is the glue that puts it all together. So take a break. I know, a long story to get to the point, right? Take a break. Self care. From time to time, you need to take a break. Now, in that break, you may not be relaxing, sitting at the beach, hiking. You might still have to do certain things, like jobs, like cleanup, whatever it may be. But take a break from a few of the routine activities that you are engaged in because it will free your mind. It will allow other things to blossom and make you actually be more complete and more self loving and more self understanding. Summer break. Whew. Now, I'm not talking, I'm going to relax, right? You probably aren't either. Maybe you're traveling. If you're in another hemisphere, yeah, you might be thinking about a hot chocolate in the snow. Doesn't matter. Break. We all need to take breaks. And in those breaks, we allow our brains, our whole system to actually recalibrate. And in that recalibration, we're able to fine tune certain things, ideas, throw some out, allow some in, only if you're present. And it's important that we are. It's important that those plateaus that we're on, those breaks that we're on, where nothing seems to be happening, that we appreciate them and that we create those times. People are always busy. I mean, if you want to see my calendar, I'm handling like 4 or 5 different calendars. When somebody calls us, hey, can I see so and so? Then I'm like, no, my daughter doesn't have time. Well, yes, she does, but I don't. So no, we can't do it that way. Oh no, I have a meeting here. Just trying with a wonderful person, for example, to meet. Oh, what beautiful offer she made me to meet, to chat about some things, to talk about growth and evolution. Well, I, I'm flying. I'm traveling next week, so I don't know when. Because as you know, there's a lot to get ready for. So it doesn't mean summer break, winter break. Doesn't mean that you're shutting everything off. It means you're taking a break from a few things to help them rejuvenate. Going back to Mother Earth. I don't have a green thumb. No, I don't. But I love nature. Either I talk to the plants too much, I talk to them too little, I water them too much, too little, you name it, I've tried everything. We do have some berries outside now, but I haven't touched them in the growth, so maybe that's it. Um, Mother Nature, agriculture. We have learned throughout history that if you plant something in the same part of the soil every day, every season, that soil will actually not produce as much anymore. It's no longer that fertile. Mother Earth needs to get time to rejuvenate, to fill the nutritions back up. And that's why Indigenous peoples, especially, they planted something here, nothing here, and then they would switch it, and then they would switch it, and then they would switch it, so that Mother Earth had sufficient time to always figure out how to is that the word? Re-nutritionalize itself? I don't know if that's a word. We need to do the same thing. Especially with all the stuff going on in the world right now. It is crazy. I mean, politics, wars, global warming, whether you believe any in it, of it or not, whether you believe that they're right or wrong, doesn't matter. There's a lot going on. And as another acquaintance of mine, Gary Jones, mentioned the other day, the planetary alignment that we had, clear indications of some really major stuff happening. And we see it. Again, it's not about right or wrong. It's about there's a lot going on right now. And I have to say, especially if you're a woman in certain countries of the world. So, there's a lot going on. We deal with that. We deal with our personal lives. We deal with work life. And it comes to overload. And if you don't want to explode, you need to take a summer break. You need to take a break so that you can nutritionalize yourself. And that's why, as I mentioned, I'm going to show it one more time, I'm going to go on a summer break. Now, when I come back, I will have guests. And you know what? I'm going to tell you a secret. I am actually working on a workshop that's going to launch in August. So no, I'm not out of this world. I'll be back. We will have Bubba on. Him and I will go back and forth about when we can make it happen. We have guests. We're going to have Megan on. We're going to have Martin on. I'm already planning it out. So it's time for growth. What are you doing to re-nutritionalize yourself? What are you doing to allow yourself to grow, develop with clear and calm direction? Because we all get thrown around wondering, what am I doing? Is this right? Why aren't things working? And if things aren't working, then something is not in alignment. And many of us tend to others more than ourselves. This is a wake-up call before you have an accident that puts you in bed. Before you get anything that puts you in bed for 4, 5, 6, 7 days until you finally get the break you need. Because that does happen. So I invite you to do 2 things. 1, when you go outside today, or even in your apartment, at your office, whatever it is, find one thing that might right now be something like a little thorn in your side, and change your perspective so that that thing becomes something you create as positive in your life. That way it can't hurt you. Number 2, schedule a break where you are present with you. You don't have to go into the desert. You don't. Make sure it's you without distractions. All right. I'm getting ready to work on my spiritual workshop, which we get to explore spirituality in the fall, coming in August. I need to schedule all of the guests that we're going to have on this show. Better be ready. And therefore, I'm going to also have to get ready for my travel and my break, in which I'll be working for you. Therefore, I am going to say goodbye for now. I'm going to show you our video, and then I have one more thing to say.
Hello and welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune. Since 1886, our name has been a part of the world of journalism. We've earned a reputation for being a publication that practices integrity, authenticity, and responsibility. For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
And I promised you one more thing to say. You matter. You're important in this world. Don't underestimate the impact that you're having. And I shall see you in August, unless you meet me on my Facebook page or my LinkedIn page. I hope to see you there. I have a group too. So see you in the group, see you on Facebook, see you on social media, wherever you want to reach out to me. I'll talk to you soon.